Hey you guys, in this video we're going to draw a Basset Hound puppy. Here's a quick preview of how our drawings turned out at the very end. I hope you're really excited to follow along with me. For this lesson you need a pencil and an eraser to draw the main shapes at the very beginning. Then we use a black marker to add the lines and details, or alcohol-based markers to color our puppies in at the very end. I'm also drawing on marker paper to help keep the markers lasting much longer than if we use regular printer paper. Canson is my favorite brand, but you really can use any brand that you want. And you can use completely different art supplies too. You could use colored pencils for the whole thing, or even oil pastels. All right, let's start drawing. Let's start by drawing a circle in the middle of our paper, but towards the top so that we have room for the body below. And don't worry about making these lines look perfect. We're just sketching with our pencils to get the shapes just the way we want it before we move on to the next step and also use our markers. So there's the shape of our head and the size. Now let's draw the body. We're gonna draw it curving out for the shoulder and then down, and we're gonna draw this puppy kind of short. We're gonna try to match the same shoulders on each side. And then down here at the bottom, we can connect these two lines together. So see how big the head is compared to the body? Our body is really short. Then we can draw the ears, and we're gonna start about here on each side, and we're gonna draw them coming out, and then we're gonna draw them curving back in, because we've got these really droopy ears hanging down really low. And then we're gonna try to match that same shape. We're kind of drawing raindrop shapes, and we're trying to match them so that they're symmetrical on both sides. So if you need to, pause the video and really work on these shapes and get them just the way you want them. Also right here, let's draw the snout. We're going to draw a smaller circle, and I'm also going just below the first circle that we drew for the head, maybe about this size. Right here, we're going to draw the little cheeks hanging down. So let's first draw a chin line right here in the middle, and then we can draw it curving out to the outside of the circle. So we got these little cheeks hanging down on each side. I even came outside of the circle just a little bit on each side. And for the nose, let's draw this size. We got a little oval shape right here at the top of the snout. We could draw ovals for the eyes too. Same size on each side. There we go. There's the main shapes for our little Basset Hound. Now we can put our pencil off to the side. Oh, let's switch to our eraser first. And we can erase the guidelines going through the ears so we don't get too confused with all these extra lines. Then we can also erase the chin and the circle going through the snout. Now we're ready to switch to our marker. Now let's first draw the nose. I'm going to draw the underside of the oval, and then the top we could draw a little more straight. And then let's color in that shape. Then let's also add a smile so that our little puppy looks happy. And we can draw a letter U or a J on the left and then a backwards J on the right. And then for the snout, we're going to start just halfway up the guidelines or the pencil lines. And then we'll trace down over the pencil and then connect those two curves with the chin. Okay, now let's also draw the eyes. We can draw the oval on each side, and then let's draw a little highlight in the top of each eye. And then let's color in the big oval. Now let's trace over the top of our little puppy's head. I'm going to turn my paper sideways so it's a little easier to keep it smooth. And I'm getting a little bumpy, but that's okay. We'll just keep going. All right. And now we're ready to draw the ears. Let's draw them curving out. And I'm going to add an extra curve right here where it comes in. And then we can come back up here and then connect down. Let's do that same thing over here. We'll draw it curving out, down, and also in a little, and then we can come back out. And then I'm going to come back up here, draw it curving around and connecting. Yeah, there we go. And then we can also connect right here, the ears to the little snout. There's our little hound's head. Now let's draw the body and the legs. First, we'll trace over the outside pencil line. Then let's draw the inside lines for the legs. And then let's draw the paws. We'll draw them curving out. And then we'll draw them underneath and then connecting to the inside line. So curving underneath and then connecting. And then we can draw the little belly. I'm gonna draw it lower since I drew the paws coming down further. So I'm gonna draw the belly there. And let's add 2 toe lines on each paw. Then we can draw the back legs. I'm gonna first draw the paw. Let's draw it down here at the bottom first. We can draw a little toe line, and then we'll draw the other paw and a little toe line. And then we can draw the hind legs coming out and then connecting to the foot. You could also add a little tail, but I think I'll leave it off on this drawing. Now we still need to color it. This part will fast forward, but at the end you can pause the video to match my same coloring. Also remember to use your eraser really quick to erase any of the pencil lines you can still see. It looks so much better all colored in. I hope you'll take time to color your drawings. You can pause the video to match my same coloring. I used a medium brown to color both sides of our hound's face so that we have the white stripe down the middle and also on the snout. Then we had the little patches on the front legs and colored in the back legs. Then I used a really light brown to add shading underneath the chin and the belly and also the feet. Then we used the light gray for the shadow on the ground to make it look more 3D. I hope you had a lot of fun following along with me and drawing a Basset Hound puppy, and we'll see you later, art friends. Goodbye.